Limited lifetime warranty. Knives are tools. Screwdrivers, hammers, and pry bars are also tools. Knives are not those tools. We warranty your knife against any defects in workmanship and materials under those normal conditions. We don't warranty your knife abuse. This includes damage from prying, throwing, screwing, batoning, or loaning your knife to your neighbor Larry. If your knife stops functioning properly, discontinue use immediately and tune it. Oh man, we're in trouble, guys. I don't think we're going to be able to warranty this. Are you on the hunt for the perfect everyday carry knife? A knife that handles everything from culinary tasks to heavy-duty rugged use. If so, you're in the right spot. Today we're checking out the Knafs Lander. Yep, we're checking out that one. We're going to put it through the test here. Here at Daily Knife, we introduce the ECURT test. It's a way to evaluate the knives in a comprehensive scoring scale designed to rate knives' performance across 5 categories. By scoring each knife on the everyday carryability, the culinary, food prep, utilitarian uses, rugged use, and a torture test, we're going to put this knife through some work and, well, see how well it holds up. Yes, we will be dropping a brick on this knife. So let's break it down here. Let's start with the everyday carryability. This is the Knafs Lander, and I think this is a knife that's really made for somebody who needs a knife for everyday carry purposes, everyday tasks. And we're going to start out with the weight. So being the Knafs Lander is smaller and lighter, a lightweight knife is definitely going to go score higher on the ECURT test. At a whopping 2.4 ounces, I'm going to have to give that a 9, super light in the pocket. You don't need 3 belts to hold your pants up just to carry around your everyday carry knife. You kind of forget it's there. And going to the size here, the size, of course, is going to vary, how the knife works, but we're talking about the everyday carry ability of the knife here. So you're looking at a 6.4-inch knife opened and closed. It's just a 3.6-inch knife with a 2.75-inch blade. That is definitely not going to take up a ton of real estate in the pocket. I can share my phone, share my keys, all in the same pocket with this knife. Definitely going to have to give that a 9 because size-wise, perfect. I like that. For everyday carry purposes, definitely checks that box, that's for sure. Now, talking about ease of use, the easy use is how easy you deploy and use the knife in everyday scenarios. So opening up the knife, you do have a dual thumb stud here. Very simple, and let's go ahead and close it here. Of course, it is a liner lock. As far as that being a tried and true lock, of course, it is also a lock that you have to put your fingers in harm's way. Yes, I said that. But, if you're smart enough about it or you've been shown how to use that lock, it's not that bad. But I have to go ahead and docket some points for that. So closing it, opening it, really easy. It's one-handed. Going to go ahead and give that a 7 because it's very simple, but yet, of course, maybe if it was like a crossbar lock or maybe a plunge lock, I don't know, something else. But hey, the liner lock is a great lock. That'll come down the road as far as how well the liner lock really is. But we're talking about the ease of use. Let's go ahead and talk about the materials. Quality materials like high-grade steel or corrosion-resistant coatings will increase the durability and score higher here. So this is a D2 blade with G10 scales and steel liners. D2 is a blade. I talked about this before. I definitely think that D2 is a great blade steel for the budget or lower priced knives. I don't like to call D2 a budget, but it really isn't. That this day of age, S35VN is now turning into a budget steel apparently. It's no magnet cut or anything like that, but D2 does really good. It's easy to resharpen. It does keep a pretty razor sharp edge. G10 here, of course, you can actually swap these out and go on and get a 3D printed the SKUs, or what do you want to call the you'll have to watch what Ben says. You can actually go and get these blueprints to get your own 3D printed. I don't know anything about 3D printing. If you do, help me out. I'm excited. I think that would be something I'd like to do. But anyways, you can get different scales. So if you want different ones, of course, that's kind of fun. Does it help with the everyday carryability? No, but it definitely makes you feel good if you're carrying something cool. I personally like the black one. There's some other ones I would enjoy as well. But talking about those materials, jumping back, of course, not getting too far down that rabbit hole, I'm going to have to go ahead and give it a 7. I mean, they're great materials for what you get here. Very grippy. Of course, that's a big deal. Let's have some jimping up here. And, for materials, that's not bad at all. Not bad one bit. So now let's talk about that price at $44.99. I actually had the price tag right here, and I peeled it off. But $44, round up. Let's just round up to $45 for this thing. That is an absolute steal. This thing is absolutely banging price. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a 9 because, hey, it's not free. It still costs a little bit of money, but for the materials. And of course, this is the Knafs Lander. This is designed by Ben. We all know Ben in the EDC community. You know that his design, that pays for itself right there. I'm going to go ahead and say absolutely banging price for sure. Let's go ahead and compile those scores together and go make a sandwich. I'll see you guys in the kitchen. Let's go ahead and take the knife through the culinary usage and see how well it uses for, food prep. So we're going to make a sandwich here. Start out with the salami here and see how well it cuts. Well, sharpness, definitely good. As far as blade length, it's doing all right. It's an under 3-inch blade. I would say it's cutting through there very well. Very slicey blade. Let's see, how many pieces do we need for a sandwich here? Oops, kind of missed it there. As far as cutting ability, it does good here. For this, very, very good. I'm going to give it one more cut here. Yeah, I'm going to say, honestly, for cutting meat, this does absolutely awesome. I'm going to go ahead and give that a score of an 8. It did phenomenal. Better than I expected, like I said, being it's a short blade. Let's go ahead and cut a tomato here. The tomato is always kind of a fun for me here because I like to see how well a knife slices. It might have some problems with how short the blade is here, but we'll work around that. Okay. For everyday carryability here, oh, that slice is really good though. Only hindrance I've got here so far is, well, the size of the blade is kind of hindering, but I guess you can improvise and roll a tomato here. As far as cutting it, very well. Let's go ahead and do the fancy cutting that they do in the culinary places. I don't know what you want to call it, those fancy cooking shows I've seen. Okay. Kind of have to saw it through there. And that's really just because this blade is short, but no, that's really the only hindrance I got. Let's make it flat here. Okay. All right, so cutting a tomato, it did pretty darn good. The only hindrance was, well, the blade was short. It's shorter than the pieces of tomato, but it did great. It was sharp. It did exactly what I would expect it to do here. I'm going to go ahead and give that a score of a 7. It cut really well, just a little short. Not too bad for an everyday carry knife. All right, moving on over to cheese. You can't have a sandwich without cheese, so go right in there and just see how well this cuts cheese because it's super sticky. All right, it's cutting through there. It's not really pressing down, and it's not, breaking the cheese, so that's not bad. As far as cutting cheese, definitely a win so far here. And, it doesn't take much pressure to push it down here. Definitely good at cutting the cheese. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good score here. I'm going to give that a score of an 8 because it did phenomenal. I mean, obviously, this is the size of the cheese makes a difference, but cutting the cheese did great. Okay, we've gone through the meat, the tomato, the cheese. Well, you need bread for a sandwich, so I went ahead and got some of this garlic bread. This is going to be a nice sandwich, I'm not going to lie here. And once again, clean cuts there. I cut that off here. Oh, man, that's actually cutting really good. I don't know if it's the bread or is it the knife, but dang, that's really clean. This is the best I've seen a knife cut. I don't know why, if it's just because it's super sharp or what, but man, that's really good. I got to do it one more because that was really good. The only hindrance, again, of course, is the blade length, but dang, those are some clean cuts. Yeah, so that did great. I mean, that's probably the best I've seen a knife do, in all honesty, because it's super, super sharp. Go ahead and give that a 8.5. It did phenomenal. All right, let's go ahead and chop up some carrots, see how well this does. Let's start from the small end here. I'm not going to eat this, so I'm not worried about getting all that off. I'm just worried about chopping it. Being it's a drop point, no problem whatsoever, Oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. If this was the only knife I had, I say this all the time, I would absolutely love this knife here. Yep, chopping ability, phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 9. It just did great. It did phenomenal in all honesty. All right, we'll go ahead and compile the scores and see how well this did in the culinary usage. All right, let's go ahead and step it up just a little bit more now. We're gonna go into the utilitarian use of the Knafs Lander. I got some hose and some wire, some leather, and we're gonna put this thing to work. Stepping up just a little bit more each category. All right, so the first thing we got for the utilitarian use is the wire cutting or wire stripping, however you wanna call it. All right, not too shabby. I'm really not an electrician. I say this every single time. This test is for the everyday person. All right, that did all right. Put another piece of wire here. There we go. All right, not too shabby, not too shabby. As far as cutting through the wire, no problem. Stripping wire, go ahead and give that a 7. I mean, it definitely did its job. See how well that D2 steel does. Wow, that actually was really good. Okay, let's go ahead and get kind of more in the belly there. Oh yeah, feels really good. Kind of get that jimping up there, you can see. That did really good cutting through the hose here. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 8 because it did good. Did dang good. All right, let's go ahead and scrape with the knife here. Being it's got a good belly on that knife, being it's a drop point. Oh yeah, not too shabby at all. Drop points definitely win on this. I always thought a Tonto would do good, but a drop point just feels more ergonomic. I always thought, like I said, a Tonto would do better, but hey, that did pretty dang good. Go ahead and give that a 7.5 here. Go ahead and do some leather cutting here. Just really simple cuts, no problem whatsoever. I like to kind of stack them up here. Now this leather is just no match to this knife. Gosh, that just works. If you're out needing to cut some leather, you need a knife, this is definitely a winner. So I don't think we're really dulling that knife down much, but well, I would say for leather, this knife does pretty dang good. Go ahead and give that an 8 too, because it just worked. It worked so well. Yeah, I definitely got some cardboard to cut here. Yeah, that's no problem here. Yeah, the cardboard cutting, no problem. That was super simple. Good ergonomics, cut with no problem, cut with ease. Gonna go ahead and give that a good score. I gotta do it. We're gonna go ahead and give that an 8. It did phenomenal. Okay, let's go ahead and step it up just a little bit more past the utilitarian and go through more of a rugged test. Let's see how this bad boy really does. See how well this pries them out. See if it breaks the tip off or anything like that. All right, no problems there. A bunch more right here. No, not a problem there. No problem. And I'm actually trying. I'm trying to see if I can break it because I want to see one break. So far, we've done pretty good. All right. No problems. Tip's pretty darn good. Not gonna lie, this knife is phenomenal. I don't know if it's the wood or not, but man, that's doing really good. All that can be now turned into kindling. Oh man, that does good. So feather sticking, not gonna lie, definitely a good knife for feather sticking. I tried to get those little feathers there, but man, that just plain works. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and say great for the feather sticking. I thought that the size would be honestly worse. So yeah, score on the feather sticking, I would love to take that out and use that for maybe building a campfire for a Boy Scout or anything like that. Definitely a good one. Go ahead and give that 7.5. Oh, and the tip pry, I'm going to go ahead and say I'll give that a 7.5 as well. All right, let's go ahead and see how the Lander does versus the rope. Are you kidding me? Nuh-uh. What in the world? That's way too easy. If you guys have been here for a while, this is way too good. Why did that do so good? I'm like incredibly impressed. Okay, well, can't go wrong with that. I cannot believe how well that did. Okay, well, I gotta give it a good score. I'm gonna go ahead and give that an 8.5. It just is cut. Why did that do so good? Dang, that was incredible. All right, let's go ahead and check out the knife on the zip ties. Okay, not bad. I like to do a little twist and there we go. Not a problem at all. Yeah, zip ties are pretty good. So, so far, this knife is just doing incredible. Why? I still don't know. But I gotta go ahead and give that an excellent score against the zip ties. Did what it should do. Go ahead and give that an 8.5 as well. Let's move it up to the coat hanger. This is like the true test to see how well this steel really does. Well, here we go. Let's do it. Whew. All right. 1, 2, 3. What? Really? Wow. Okay. So there's the little piece of coat hanger, and let's take a look at the damage here. Let's assess that. Not too bad. I don't know what it is, but this D2 not doing so bad. Man, this knife is just kicking butt. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm just thoroughly impressed. Well, of course, just a little bit of damage on that blade here. I gotta give it a score because it did damage it, but it didn't like really damage it that bad. It cut it really good. Gosh, I'm getting bad at this scoring because I'm just amazed. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 5 because it damaged it, but I think you could definitely sharpen that down and get that back to working order. Well, we've made our way all the way to the torture test, and I'm a little excited to see how well the Knafs Lander does. So let's go ahead and torture the knife, I guess. Ugh, I don't even like saying it out loud. Yeah, this isn't intended for that. You know, a knife is a knife thing. This isn't really a knife thing, but hey, we can really find out how well it does. So let's see if it works as a screwdriver. So far, so good. How's the blade going? Not too bad. A little bit of damage, but what would you expect? I mean, we're using it as a screwdriver, and it's made to be sharp. But it's doing good. Oh my gosh, no problem. I mean, it's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So it did good. Let's go ahead and see if we can pound it in. I always like to see if we can do this. I don't know why. There we go. No problem. Screw that all the way in there. Oh, getting a little crooked. It's actually doing better going in than it did going out. A little more pressure maybe because I'm pushing down harder. I don't know. That did good. Okay. So as a screwdriver, it did dang good. Go ahead and give that a good score. It did scuff it up quite a bit. It didn't break, but the edge is just a little troublesome. A little bit of problem. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 6. It did good, but it didn't completely demolish the blade. It just kind of dulled it down a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and see how it works up against a block of wood here. With a locking knife, you usually want to make sure that the knife is, of course, unlocked and then pound on it. But for testing purposes, let's lock the blade. All right. Okay, not too shabby. Lock's doing good. Okay. Solid. Batoning, it did the job. It did well, but I gotta say, there's not any blade play, but the lock just feels a little gummy. 7.5. Can this knife cut through this bolt? Let's find out. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more time on that bolt chop. 1, 2. All right. Okay, I can definitely feel something. Or is that the bolt? I don't know. All right, so definitely got some blade shoved in the bolt, but not too shabby. It's not damaging it too bad. As far as that lock goes, still works pretty darn well. Well, let's move on outside and dig with it and, well, drop a block on it, I guess. So, yeah, we're just making a lot of mud, but hey, definitely can say this is a knife you can dig a hole with very well. I haven't been able to make a video of a knife making a good hole in a while because, gosh, it's been so frozen. But, well, digging ability, size-wise, I mean, it is not too shabby. Go ahead and give that a 5 because, well, it's small, but it won't make a good shovel. But, hey, definitely a good knife if you're going to be using maybe for metal detecting or anything like that. So, there we go. I always dread this part because, well, damaging a good knife, but, hey, we're doing it so you don't have to, and see how well this knife can do. Bring it to its fullest extent. Well, rules say head high, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, a little wobbly here, muddy. Take the gloves off here. Okay, yeah, didn't break it half or anything. Still actually works pretty decent. Can you hear that? Yeah, a little problem there. Little wobble, but still a working knife. Look at the lockup on that. It's way over there. Well, we did it with the last one. We might as well do it with this one too. Man, scary doing this, but so it passed the first test. This one is going to be more of a last sentence. Oh man. So last time we did this, we dropped it right on the middle. Nervous. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, dang it. Snapped it right in half and bent it. Where'd the blade go? Obviously that was gonna break it, but yeah, you gotta test it out. There's the blade. Well, snapped in half, but I mean, that's obviously gonna happen, but it lets you know kind of where the weak spots are. And actually surprised me. All right, she's all sorts of sandwiched up. So the knife did pretty dang good. As far as, you know, the brick test, that's always just kind of like a bonus test, I guess you could say. Well, it did all right. Snapped in half on that second one, but that one's definitely a bonus test. So let's talk about what happened. So the knife snapped in half. We know that. The lock is busted. The knife is obviously rendered useless at this point, right? Those tests that we do, the torture test, that's really just kind of pushing the knife to its limits. Does it make the knife bad? No, not by any means. It really kind of just finds out, you know, what limits can a knife really take. That is never something that somebody's really gonna do. If you were to actually do that in the wild, let's just say it, you dropped a brick on a knife that was open, I mean, you're just asking for that to happen. Let's just be real. If you're too negligent to literally close your knife and put it in your pocket, and let alone leave it open randomly where you could drop a brick on a knife, I mean, that's just negligence on you, and you're asking for that to happen, especially for a under $50 knife. That's just phenomenal. So I'm really impressed on on this knife. I mean, I am just, the Knafs Lander, I feel really bad because now it's rendered useless, but man, I could have just left it at not dropping the brick on this knife today and been fine. This knife would have been lasting for who knows how long. But we took the knife beyond the pocket, beyond knife usage, and pushed it to its limits. Great design. I'm not gonna lie, if you're looking for an everyday carry knife, once again, here's another good one. Forget that it broke in half when a brick fell in. I mean, that's inevitable. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to smash that like button and go ahead and subscribe. We are so close to making some milestones, and you heard it here. I maybe shouldn't say too much, but I heard there might be some major giveaways happening. So tell your friends, watch the videos, tell them to subscribe. Guys, have a fantastic rest of your day, and take the knife beyond the pocket.